But yeah, this is Yono and the Celestial Elephants. I believe the one intended for this was the mini Yono glitch, which we'll be showing off afterwards as well. So we can just get right into it in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is Yono. Yono is a space elephant, which means Yono just wants to help everybody because, you know, Yono is just such a wholesome, great elephant. But Yono doesn't like conversation, so Yono's gonna go hide in the back of that tree to avoid talking with her, one of the main characters of the game. And there's actually another dialogue there, but you skip it by dashing across the water. The game is a like adventure puzzle game. The speedrun ignores pretty much almost every puzzle, a lot of them, most of them. You do one puzzle, arguably one puzzle here, which is pushing this block twice in the tutorial, and this will take us to Windhill, which is the first little town hub that's in the game. But the game very quickly for this category, lots of crazy stuff will start happening. I'll explain the category a little bit after explaining this glitch, which is monk skip. There is a monk. We're going to skip them. You're supposed to splash water on their face and they talk with us. And again, Yono does not like conversations. We're going to avoid that by going onto this chicken and dashing around an invisible wall that's there to skip that specific piece of dialogue. You pretty much dash right as you're falling off to get around that invisible barrier. Now we just hug the edge around here to avoid putting out that fire, fighting those enemies. And now we are in the Hedgehog Forest, which is mostly a bunch of caves. It's not really Hedgehog Forest. Hedgehog, not forest, but I don't know. Caves, I guess. We got a snake cave here. We have to kill the snakes to make the key sponge. We're supposed to use it up there. We're just going to go the complete opposite direction with it, because you can actually get to the room where that key is at just by using that pot to boost our way into that doorway there. So we actually keep the key with us, and we sequence break it out of the room we're supposed to use it in. So now we have a key that we're not supposed to have, and that is kind of the premise for a lot of the game in terms of skips and how we'll be doing things in ways we're not supposed to. So we're actually going to do this room mostly normally. This is one of the only sort of puzzle rooms we end up doing, because we want to get the key that normally spawns in this room that you're supposed to use for that door and bring it with us. So we'll put out this fire. You can grab things that are really far below you, but you can't grab things that are really far above you, which is kind of important because we'll be using this key to get a bunch of height. Because this room that we're coming to right afterwards is pretty much a big circle, and there's this hill, or not hill, like it's a little hill, little ledge right here that stops you from cutting your way through the circle and just immediately getting to here. But you can use a key as a ramp to get your way around it a little bit quicker. So keys are pretty much little mini ramps you can bring with you and boost up things. Anyway, so we will be using this key right here. There's supposed to be a key in that rock that you're supposed to knock off of it, but because you came into the room with a key, it doesn't actually spawn the second key, because it's like, oh, there's already a key in this room, there's no need to spawn the second one. So you actually have to come back and let the game realize that it should have spawned a key the first time. And we'll be grabbing this one. So this final room has a pretty long puzzle to get this last key. So this is where we use the key. And the reason for that is because when we go into a new area, which will... Oh, nice. There we go. Took a little bath for a second. I don't know why. But when we go into a new zone, like a new world or like a new city hub, if we have any items that we're holding on our person or on our elephant, we do not keep them with us. So they either just disappear or they become objects on your back that you can't actually, like, they stay there, but the game doesn't recognize there's an object on your back, so you can't throw it or use it in any sort of way. And you can actually pick other things up and stack it on top of it. We're supposed to talk to the queen here, and again, like we've learned before, Yono doesn't like talking to people, so we're just gonna kind of walk by there. But we do need to make a save there for later in the run. What we're gonna do to get through these guards that are gonna tell us to go talk with the queen is just hop over them. Just do a little bit of a dash there with a bit of a setup, and it lets you get over them pretty easily. Unfortunately, we're about to do our last chicken skip of the run, where we're gonna use this chicken to get around talking with one of the characters. Oh, never mind. So there's random NPCs that'll walk around, and they'll sometimes get in your way and block your ability to throw that chicken, or they'll just talk with you while you're holding this chicken. It's like, no, I want to go fast. Please get out of my way. I have a chicken to throw. It's very important. This key boost is really weird because you're on a ramp, which normally is very hard to do for key boosts. But instead you can kind of dash towards it and it boosts you up a little bit, so it starts you going up it. We used to do the same thing we did in the previous area. We'd keep bringing a key with us and keep grabbing the key from the room and use it to do some skips. Oh, never mind, I fell down there. Nice. Your health is very important in this part of the run, so I actually am going to load the save there just to avoid taking damage. Taking a little bit of damage there is fine. We're going to wait on these spikes. And the reason our health is important is because this hallway right here, you're supposed to use a block to stop yourself from getting hit and use it to shield Yono. But you can dash at just the right time to not get knocked backwards and sometimes not even take damage. So you kind of just roll the dice a little bit and just go down that hallway, and if you get the right timing. Also, that skip is incredibly random that we just did, where you dash across there. It usually takes anywhere from 1 try to like 20 tries, and depends how the game's feeling. So first try, which for some reason marathons, that's been happening a lot lately. Marathon luck is great. For that bucket over there, you're supposed to fill it with water, but you can wiggle Yono's head inside of it, and the game checks if something's inside of it, and Yono's head, I guess, counts enough as something filling it. So, either way, good stuff. We're gonna make this fight a little bit safe. We're gonna look towards this tree. You know, if you don't look towards enemies, they're actually not real. You guys know that. You just ignore them. Ignoring your problems is fine. So we're gonna chuck this lever down here. So you can do this where you grab the lever from here, but sometimes it just launches you. Sometimes it does nothing at all. It's pretty great. It's a lot of fun. It's a new reaction every single time. You never know what's gonna happen. There we go, see? It's fine. That lever isn't dangerous at all. Alright, so we are almost at the final area for this world. And what we're going to do here when we get into this room is we're going to trick him into swinging a few times just by getting close to him, and then we move out of his range just so we can like move that skull into the corner and use it to boost over that gate instead of getting some keys. This is Cinder Garden. Cinder Garden has a big old crypt section, a lot of like light puzzles, some chores you have to do up here. There's a lot of stuff going on with it. I don't know what the boss even is. If you can get started, we're not going to do any of that stuff. We're just, oh, never mind. The skull got stuck in here. So we're going to do the backup skip, which is terrible. So you have to, there's a reason no one does the skip anymore. You have to, I might just restart the save and do it the normal way. I'll do it this way. Why not? For my own amusement. So this ramp destroys this skull if it goes all the way to the top. So you have to do these little nudges. Get it all the way to the top. All right, let's do it again, but better. Don't fall off. There we go. Great. So that actually skips the entire world because you're supposed to, once everything's done, the gate opens and you can leave. But you can use the skull by pushing it against that flower and boost yourself up. So we're in Acorn Woods. Acorn Woods leads you to the robot city hub. And then you're supposed to come back through here later and go to Woolly, whoops, that didn't work. There we go. Woolly Mountain, which is the final area before the final area. So I guess the second to final area. That's how things work. But the great thing is they give us a key, so we can just bring it over here and do some wiggles and then just go over there. So now we're in Woolly Mountain early, and we just pretty much skipped 2 different worlds. We also skipped melting that snowman by dashing between the gap and kind of wiggling our way through there. So we're gonna Push our way down here. You actually can't fit in the gap that that block just pushed through. I know it doesn't make any sense, but for some reason you don't fit there. So you have to actually go around. The ice block, as it's melting, boosts you up a little bit so you can get over that bush and skip doing the ice block pushing puzzle. Does this game also have a glue factory? Not that I think so. Not yet. Maybe Yono 2 will have a glue factory. When Yono and Hazel team up in their collaboration video game. And the biggest crossover since Sonic and Mario went to the Olympics together. That was a good time. So we're gonna skip melting this snowman too. We actually don't melt any snowman. You're supposed to melt like 3 or 4 during the course of playing normally. But we actually melt 0 because we are good people and we care about snowman. And a good snowman is hard to make. Canonically, we could just say that the factory makes glue. It's true. I don't think the factory makes anything. I think it's just a factory. They didn't realize that factories were actually supposed to make things. It's just a factory to make factories. It's like a 3D printer that makes a 3D printer. It's ingenious. All right, anyway, so there's a skip here. The skip's really hard. You go off this edge. I wasn't being sarcastic. I just am actually okay at that skip. You dash right as you're falling off, and you also have to like pivot which direction you're looking and go the right way off. This is the queen. She's upset at us because we ignored her earlier in the run, so she's gonna send us to jail. Part of that's true. We're at least in jail. They're factory class for factories. Exactly. So we're in the dungeon now. We're in another dungeon. 2 dungeon games in a row. I promise the 3rd game that I do does not have a dungeon. Dungeons are great because they have guards, and guards don't actually disappear. Guards stick around. So what we can do is we can just walk on top of them and use them as little mini boosts so we can get ourselves onto this out-of-bounds seam and keep the key. The soft lock can happen there. The way it happens is the game just decides to soft lock you and the dialogue just doesn't start. I think it's been programmed to happen only to me and nobody else. That's not true. It happens to me a lot. I don't know why. I did a marathon run where it happened twice in a row, which has never happened before because that's how marathons go. I waited until after it didn't happen to tell that story, because otherwise it would have happened like 3 times and the game would have also crashed and also would have uninstalled itself. But anyways, we have a key. This puzzle just solves itself when you come back through the room, so. Because you're never supposed to be able to leave that room from that direction without having solved it. But, you know, we're not really doing things in the correct way. I do believe this final area of the game was done much quicker than the other part of it because it is a single developer trying to get it out. So this area has a lot more unique skips than the other ones. Like the thing we're gonna do right here. So we actually have to throw the key there because when you go so far out of bounds, like you go into the void and have to get placed back on the map, you lose the item that you're holding. So what we're gonna do is go into this corner and we're gonna get a ton of velocity by interacting with that swish because it like crams us in that corner. And it keeps launching us through to the ceiling to where the game tries to place us back on the ground over and over again. And we just keep using our momentum over and over again. Until we just so happen, if you do it right there after you lock on, that it sends you right to the exit gate where we threw our key at the very beginning. So you just kind of launch yourself to the exit. It's good times. Do a little key boost there to get around. You can do another key boost here, but the easier way is just to knock this guy into the corner, let him get out of it a little bit, and then knock him in, back into it. If you just keep hitting him into the corner, he'll actually get stuck on the ceiling, because when he dies, he kind of pops up in the air, and he just won't come back down. He'll just refuse. I can't really explain why this trick works. I found it just by hitting this guy randomly into this corner one day. But you twist in the corner there, and Yono for a second learns how to jump and flings himself into it. That's pretty accurate, actually. That is pretty much the entire skip. The skip we just did there is kind of getting ourselves stuck in place between two things and dashing, and it launches you upwards. Alright, so this is the final sort of physics skip thing that we have going. This is a minute-long puzzle room to do speedrunning-wise, so what we're going to do instead is do a extraordinarily surprisingly precise setup. This is the only part of the game you use your keyboard to set up. Doing this, and if you do it right, it launches you perfectly over top of it like that, and skips doing the entire puzzle because it clips you into the barrel and then launches you back out. It's very rare to get the boost actually to do that. Got lucky with that. I can't even explain why the box clips inside the gate because we have to explain the save glitch. So remember we saved at the very beginning of the run. What we're going to do now is we're going to start the boss cutscene. Right there. And load the save. And that's going to take us back to here, which is where you're supposed to go after you fight the boss. And there's an NPC that spawns after you fight the boss. But because we did the save warp back to it, we had the progress of having beaten the boss. Because once you start the boss cutscene, the only way you get out of there is to kill the boss because you're just trapped in there. So the game assumes we killed the boss, spawns the NPC, we talk with them, which spawns this portal to the end of the game. So we fight, there's 3 bosses in this game, and we only see one of them when we fight 0 of them. So this is the end of the game. We're going up here in this portal. I will be showing off a glitch here in just a second, but we are gonna, time will come up once all the dialogue is done. But you can actually, if you dash onto this platform, it lets you move around on it, which you're not supposed to be able to do, which also means you can re-trigger this cutscene to happen twice. You can do that. You'll see Yono just decides to start floating up and just goes off frame. So there goes Yono. And that's time. And there goes Yono. There's a lot happening in that game. Every time I commentate a run of this game, I feel like I should bring some tea with me and sip it afterwards because my voice is gonna die one of these times. But yeah, as Yono Celestial Elephants, no major skips. There's a any % category, which is you go from the 1650. That's good. That's good times. Any % you go straight from after the tutorial to the end of the game. There's also like a max health category for this game where you can actually increase your health. We have the lowest possible health the entire game. You're supposed to pick up health tokens and increase your health, but we just don't do that. So anyways, we're gonna do the mini Yono glitch now real quick. I almost just deleted my save, which would have been hilarious. I don't think Boys will like that very much. I could edit my save probably. I don't remember the name of the area, but either way. So during this cutscene, you saw we floated upwards and we got further away from the camera. So we actually didn't get further away from the camera. What's happening is the only thing that's happening is the platform is moving to the left and getting smaller. That is all that is happening during this cutscene. So to make this cutscene make sense, Yono's also getting smaller. So what we can do is we can glitch the game so that we can move off the platform and we can die as that cutscene happens. Whoops, this one. What? Well, I guess we have to walk backwards then. So we're slightly tinier than we're supposed to be. We're gonna make ourselves even smaller. I forgot to make a manual save, so we actually have to walk slowly. Oh, never mind. Okay, how do we do this then? Alright, so we're back where we were. Let me make a manual save to be safe now. Sometimes your saves just don't get overwritten, and sometimes they do when they're supposed to. And, you know, it's whatever the game feels like doing. Okay, cool. So we did it again where we dashed onto the platform so we can move off it. So again, the platform's getting smaller, and Yono's getting smaller. We're just going to fall off of it and take a bunch of damage by running off of it over and over again. Actually, I'm cutting this a little bit close. Okay, we should be good. You have to die right as the cutscene starts or else it doesn't work how it should. So I forgot to fall off the platform earlier. So you see, we're even smaller than we were before. Our hitbox actually changes as well, so when we're smaller, we actually collide into things differently now. So we'll do it one more time, so we become extra small Yono. So, jump off of one more time, so we can shrink ourselves a little bit. You can just infinitely keep doing this until you can pretty much not see Yono. Maybe Yono is in fact best Yono. That is a factual statement. Alright, so now we are tiniest Yono possible. Uh-oh. Alright, so we can just wreak havoc everywhere now. We can squeeze in wherever we want to. Just wander around. Unfortunately, you can't do a run like this because when you start a new save, it actually doesn't keep with how small you are. But you can wiggle in place you're not supposed to go. You can still pick up all the normal things, so you can pick up things twice your size now. No problem whatsoever. You can. Where's a fun place to sneak into? You can go in here. Well, you're not supposed to be able to do that. You can go down here. You're not supposed to be able to go down there. What's happening? I don't know. Crazy things. Actually, you're not supposed to ever get past here at all. This takes you down to a lower section. Yes, the strongest small elephant ever. Anything else? Ow. But yeah, so that is small Yono glitch. That is Yono and Celestial Elephants. If you're interested, we do have a Discord with lots of guides and explanations and people that are more than happy. Oh, you can hide on a little bench. That's so cute. So if you are interested in any of those resources, we've got all that on Spooner.com and all that, and we're more than happy to help you with that. It just seemed fun. But I'm not going away yet. You guys can't get rid of me so easily. I'm doing Narwhal Heist right after this, so I will be back in just a moment. Hopefully not with ESA together background behind my splits or behind my game anymore.